my yeast. You can put everything in the mixing bowl. Don't be afraid. The order is not really matters as long as the water comes first. I spilled some flour over here, so I'm going to start on the slowest speed, which is nice. That could be. It's a stir for about probably 3 or 4 minutes. Until everything is well combined and the water were absorbed in the flour. If you're mixing and you see that it's you think that it's too dry or too wet, let's wait till the 2-3 minutes, and then we'll decide if we need to add more water or not. Come here, you can think, Aviva, you can take part of it, don't be shy. Aviva is standing behind the camera, she's too shy, so not to worry. I'm going to stop the bowl and scrape everything. I have a scraper, which is a piece of plastic. As I said, we're going to have the mixer to mix it better. I already feel that the dough is a bit too dry, so I'm going to add some water to it. About 1 tablespoon at a time until everything comes together and I get the right consistency that I want, and I'll try to show you exactly what you are looking for when you are mixing. Okay, so everything comes together. You can see that the bowl is clean. No more flour, dry flour or anything. Well, at this moment, I'm probably going to go on the second speed, just so I can start to get the gluten development. Too small for the... Okay, I went on the second speed and I'm going to put a timer for about 3 or 4 minutes again. If you are using a mixer like mine, 7 quarts, you probably have to do a double batch because as I can see, it's too small for the mixer to process. So we'll see what we can do about it. Maybe I'll hand mix it. Does anyone have a question at the moment?
Yeah, there are a couple questions I see someone was asking about the water temperature that you used.
What?
What does the water temperature mean?
Water temperature, let's say it should be around 75, 76. It depends where you are, of course. But let's say that if we are in Chicago at this time of the year, I would use about 75, 76. In the winter, most likely I'm going to go higher. The water, the dough temperature, it's what's going to determine the fermentation process. And if I'm using cold water, then I'm not going to get any fermentation. So I need to get some warmish water so the yeast can actually activate and move. I usually use instant dry yeast, not active and not fresh. I wouldn't waste my time and money on fresh and to keep them refrigerated. It's just too small.
I'm on mute. Yossi, someone's asking if you can use a Cuisinart if you don't have that type of mixer.
A food processor?
Cuisinart. Cuisinart, was it?
Yes.
Cuisinart.
Yeah, but what is a food processor? I mean, maybe they can hear me.
A food processor, he's asking?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say yes, but to be very gentle and to pulse until everything comes together. I'm not a big fan of mixing, kneading dough with the food processor.
He said he's not a fan of mixing dough with a food processor. Yeah. If it was too loud back here.
תודה אביבה ויוסי, תודה רבה. זה ג'ייסון.
Oh, hey, Jason.
The food was delicious the other night, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now
I
you're
was eating it.
Making pita.
I'm taking your secret so I can make it, but I'm the Cuisinart guy. I don't have a blender. Hello, Machi.
To be honest, I'm just trying to mix it by hand a little bit to give it some more structure and strength, because the mixer is very struggling to mix such a small amount. As you can see, when I'm pulling the dough, it has some resistance, which is good, but I need to look on it. And the dough is not so I'm going to try to mix it a bit longer, and if it's not going to work, I'm just going to do it by hand for a few minutes.
Okay.
We'll let it ferment for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
מה?
איפה אני עושה?
מה? כאן. מה את רוצה לעשות?
שם.
קודם כל צריך להחליף. מירה.
לא חשוב.
מירה, רק רגע. אוקיי. שנייה.
אוקיי.
אוקיי. אני לא זוכר איזה.
Aviva, there's definitely some feedback, and I'm not sure what
The
it's
mixing
about.
bowl is clean, and the dough hook is actually mixing the dough, and not what I had before. And so I'm going to let it go for about a minute or two. We will check the gluten development again, and then we're probably going to let it ferment in room temp.
I understand his accent.
For about 45 minutes to an hour.
Wow, my dough never looks like that clean from the bowl.
Inside her dough never
It's
looks that
either
clean.
too wet or you just.
Like it sticks to the sides much more than it should, I'm sure.
The side of what?
The sides are what?
Like when I use my KitchenAid or whatever, I have to keep putting flour in to make it not so sticky against the sides.
As I said, as much as I love the KitchenAid, it's not the best mixer for kneading.
Yeah.
So using a scraper, and if you saw, I lifted the bowl a little bit, just so the dough can reach out for more dough.
I want
It's
this.
one of the things, but I don't
That's
recommend you
because
do it.
why?
It can be very dangerous.
These are the best.
That's
Oh,
probably $1.50 tool, which can make your life much easier if you like to bake. I have another scraper. It's the same thing, but it has a different task that I'm doing with. Let's check the dough right now. So for your recipe, you can add about 2 tablespoons of water. Okay, so can they see everywhere?
Yeah, I'm gonna push it down.
So as you can see, I'm pulling the dough and it's not tearing. And if you want to be even more critical, you can try to open a window. It's a bit too weak. I can continue mixing, but I'm going to stop over here because I'm going to knead it by hand a little bit. You can go, let's say, about 1 or 2 more minutes in the mixer, but the dough needs to be very smooth.
So the goal would be then, if you're pulling it apart, you don't want the holes.
Yeah, if you
To
open,
show.
yeah, you want it. So this is a dough that I mixed beforehand. It's fermented, so it should be. Can they see?
Mm-hmm.
You see? I'm opening a window and it's not tearing. That's what I'm looking for. And you see how the dough is smooth compared to this one. This is already fermenting for about an hour, and we're going to shape it very soon, and we're going to make our pita with it. So I'm kneading by hand a little bit just to help it.
Someone said, can you knead by hand and forget the mixer?
Absolutely, yes. I would have mixed water and flour first, let it sit for about 20 minutes, and then to add the salt and yeast. Do you know what fold means? Can we see?
Ask the question again. Does everybody know what to fold means?
I'm going to show how fold of dough is going to look like. So if this is my dough, I'm going to pull 4 corners and fold it to the center, just like that. That's very good technique to get development if you're not mixing with a mixer. When I'm baking sourdough, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm not using mixer at all. So I'm going to cover it with a plastic wrap, and I'm going to let it sit. Do we have a thermometer here? If you want to be professional and to determine exactly your fermentation time, your dough should be about 74 to 76, the final temperature of the mixing. And I would say that in that temperature, we're going to let it rise for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Do you want to wear my iPads?
I don't know if it's going to help. I don't mind.
Amy, do you think it'd be better if we put on some AirPods so the voice is straight from him?
There's definitely a little bit of background noise coming from your house because everybody else is
We've
muted.
got a shusher going in the other room for the baby. So that's why I ask.
There's
I'm
a
going to
shusher.
AirPods.
I need a shusher for myself. Okay, I'm going to move the mixer because we're not going to use it.
Take these. And I'll connect you to
When,
audio on my phone.
I'm just going to use the... So what I'm going to do now,
Let me connect.
I'm going to take the dough that's already fermented, and I'm going to show how to divide and pre-shape the pita.
Wait, let me just see if this works.
So as
Hold
you
on,
can
you
see,
don't have audio. 1, 3, 4,
I don't have audio.
6, 2, 4, 8.
1 second, please.
Do you hear anything? Yeah.
Aviva, somebody asked if it was 76 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, absolutely. 76 Celsius. Oh, Viva.
80, 90.
Next question is, does it matter what type of flour that you are using, whether it's AP or bread flour?
If you have a bread flour, you can use it as well. You probably will have to change the hydration a little bit, the water. Nice, Viva. The water amount, but absolutely. I'm usually using King Arthur flour.
Say it again, Yos. What type of flour are you using?
King Arthur. That's
King
the
Arthur.
all-purpose. Sir Galahad, that's the commercial word for it. Very consistent, very good flour. Unbleached, unrich. You don't want to use all the cheap flours that you can find at the grocery store. I would invest $1 or $2 more and just get a better flour.
Just ignore it. Never mind.
Can everyone hear me?
It's just a little shushy noise in the back, that's
I
all.
don't know what we were doing. Anyway, that's the dough that was fermented already. So as you can see, it's pretty light. It's very puffy. And I'm going to divide it right now. Okay. I hope that you can hear me better now. But I have echo. Hey. Okay. Now I still have echo. Turn the computer on. Now? Oh, nice. Okay, so can you hear me now?
Better.
Perfect. So I'm using very little amount of flour. I don't like to use flour at all when I'm dividing and shaping. I have a scale. I'm going to scale them about 3.5 ounces, which is 100 grams. And then I'm going to show how to shape them to make a nice and rounded pita. When you put a piece of dough on the scale, if you have, so right now I'm only about 100, so let's say that I have 78 grams, so I need to add more to get to the 100 grams, which is the 3.5 ounces. All the leftover that I have, the small pieces, I'm going to put them on the bottom. So my top will be clear, the smooth side.
What number are you getting to again?
100 grams, which is about 3.5 ounces. Okay, so I divided everything. Now is the tricky part, how to shape them. It's going to look very simple. It might not, but I promise you it's not hard. So I'm going to do one at a time. This is our piece of dough. I'm going to put it on the counter. I'm going to cup it with my hand. All my fingers are touching the surface. Okay. I'm going to press the dough down and I'm going to start and roll it. As you can see, I'm putting pressure and tension on the dough. That's what I want to get. It's a smooth with tension round. I'm going to do it again. The piece of dough, all my fingers are touching the counter, and I'm going to start and roll it. If the dough is too sticky, you can put some flour, and when I'm saying put some flour, then where's the flour? If it's on the counter, you can do that little less, and start and roll. That's what I want. Now, if you have too much flour on the counter, let's say like this, what's going to happen, the dough going to move, and I'm not going to get the tension that I need from the counter. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want almost any flour on the counter. I will try to shape it in 2 seconds. Now I'm going to do it in the first mode. And I'm going to put them on a floured baking sheet. That's the annoying one. Okay. So they are all divided and pre-shaped. Oh, sorry. We're going to let them sit for about, probably now about 25 minutes because we don't have that much time. You can cover it with the towel
That one right there.
or with the plastic. Yeah, but I need to use it. So let me bring plastic. And since we are in Chicago, I would look for a warmish place to put them. When I'm fermenting something, I like to put my dough in the oven. Turn the oven for about 1 minute. It doesn't matter what the temperature is, and just turn it off to keep it warm, and the dough has a much better environment to ferment. So this is sitting right here. We're going to bake the pita today in 2 different ways. One, I have this guy right over here. It's a pizza oven. Bakes beautiful pizza. We'll see how it bakes pita. It has a stone. It should reach about 550, maybe 600 degrees Fahrenheit. And the other method, Aviva,
I'm like, I'm reading Jason's comments. You're so sweet.
we're going to try to bake with right here, Aviva, on the stove, in the pan. So we'll see the difference and how good or not it's going to work for us. Oven should be on the highest temperature, not boiled. We don't want any, it's not too hot, but it's going to burn the pita. If you have a baking stone, place it beforehand and let it warm for, I would say, at least half an hour when the oven reaches the highest temperature.
Oh.
If the stone going to be if it's going to be cold or not too warm, the dough going to stick and it's not going to bake as you want. The goal is to bake it in about 2.5 to 3 minutes. You can use convection mode, and you can use I would have used convection if you have. The baking should be shorter and faster.
And somebody asked, can you cover it with a warm towel?
Yes, you can. You don't need to, but you can.
Not hear that okay? He said, yes, you can, but you don't have to.
Any other questions about mixing, kneading, hand mix?
Someone had a question about whether you can cover with a warm towel. Can you cover
I
instead
said
of plastic wrap? Can you use
you can. You don't have to. You can. You don't have to.
And when you say the
Again,
go ahead, Rose.
no. Say you can go ahead.
No, I'm just reading the questions. Somebody asked about the warm towel and how high the temperature should be. The oven with a baking stone. You talking 450?
Highest temperature.
Okay.
If your oven reach out to 550, perfect. If your oven reach out 600, you are lucky. But the highest it can reach. And of course, the baking time going to vary between the different ovens and the temperatures. Let's say that about 550, I believe about 2.5, 3 minutes. Any other questions? Woo-hoo. Okay, let's drink some wine. Cheers again, everybody.
Chaim.
L'chaim. No. So
L'chaim.
let's continue. Why Jason not muted? Jason, I'm sorry I didn't have time to talk to you when you came. Okay, let's mix the kebab. We'll let it sit for about 20 minutes, 10 minutes, and then we'll make the trina, and hopefully our pita will be ready by then. So, we have ground beef, 80-20.
Explain what that means.
80-20 means 80% meat, 20% fat. If you have 73-27, I think it would be even better and tastier for kebab. You probably can get, I believe you can get it in a grocery store. It's much easier in Restaurant Depot if you're going there. So, neat. Thank you. Our onion. Oh, they can't see anything. It's chopped. No, can't see anything. No,
Yossi,
it's too white.
is that onion? Is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah, that's the onion.
Someone's asking if you can use chicken or fish if you're not a red meat eater.
I believe you can. You definitely can. I'm not sure how moist or not it's going to be, but you definitely can. It's probably going to be very good. We have cilantro or parsley. I think that the recipe called for parsley. Garlic cloves.
Very, very finely chopped.
Yes, ma'am. We have cumin. I toasted my cumin. I like to do it because it gives it so much flavor. It depends what are you cooking, but think about it as an option to add more depth for what you're cooking. So we have salt. I would say about 1 teaspoon. And we're gonna add some black pepper. And the fun part gonna start in about 25 seconds. Aviva, do you wanna knead it?
I'm the holder of the computer.
That's a hard no, okay.
How much cumin did you put in there, Yossi?
I would say about 2 teaspoons.
Okay. Are you gonna send the recipe out so I can send it out?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we can send it. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. I can send a full process for the pita. If people are asking, I'll be more than happy to do it. So I'm going to mix everything very well. And when I'm saying very well, you will see what it means. Can you smell it?
It smells so good.
Yeah.
All that fresh, what did you say, cilantro?
Cilantro and cumin.
The cumin, yeah.
You can also add coriander, allspice if you want. What else? What else are we using? The barat, the coriander.
And how long do you toast your cumin and at what temperature?
It's I toast it on a pan on the stove.
Mm-hmm.
I would say about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You don't want to burn it. When it starts to get toasted, you're just gonna smell it. It's very good aroma. So you're gonna know. And worst case, you're gonna burn one batch, and the second one will be successful. I like to use the whole cumin, the whole seed, because it's harder to burn them than the ground one. And then you just grind them. If you have a spice grinder, and I'm sure that in America everyone has it, and not like in Israel. I didn't even know what it is before I moved here. Aviva, what do you think? Is it ready? Yeah, Aviva? Aviva is coming to give us her opinion.
You don't have a backseat driver in cooking? What do you have?
Our sous chef is sleeping right now.
Are both kids asleep?
Huh?
That would be a nice day if both of them were asleep at the same time.
It's hard to hear you, Aviva. I can hear him, but not you that well.
You talk. You got the mic.
She said that she loves you all. So as you can see, I need it for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes by now.
Wow.
Very well mixed. It's one piece, not breaking apart or anything. There are people who adding eggs or flour or whatever. I mean, I don't find any use for it, especially if we're not going to make skewers. If you need it well and if you have a good meat and the right fat content, you should be more than enough, more than good. Okay, what we're gonna do now? Let's take another one. Can I get a small plate, man? It's right here. You can, but we're gonna have some time because we're gonna make the tahini, green tahini. Well, of course, that it's medium and not large, like I need. Oh well. Oh well. That's gonna work. Okay, so I'm gonna take about that much. If you want, I can scale it. It's 75 grams, so I would say anywhere from 75 to 85. You should be good. I usually don't scale it, but if you want to be more precise and at the end to bake it more even, then at least at the beginning you can scale. By the time that you know how they should be and you get the consistency without it, it'll be good. So, kababi babi. It's probably one of the best things to eat in Yom Ha'atzmaut in Israel, a kebab. And I miss it, I can't say I'm not. Okay, so we're gonna roll all of them. Yes, yes. I don't know. How much time do we have, by the way? How are we on time?
You need.
As many as I need. If you'll take care of my kids,
Funny.
we're more than happy to do it as long as needed. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I have another probably 2 or 3 more pieces. But I don't have a space on my pita, on my plate, pita. I just put it here. I'm going to leave the rest of the meat right over here. Let's take the glove off. Wash hands. And we're going to move to make our green tahina. For that, I would use a food processor or a blender. I think the food processor is going to do probably a better job. But if you want to grind it very well and very fine, then blender is probably more powerful and has more RPM than a food processor. So I'm going to put all the ingredients besides the cilantro in my huge food processor. I hope that it's big enough. That's what it is. We have the tahina, we have the lemon juice, water, We have the salt. But I believe it's 1 teaspoon. I will check it in a few minutes. If you want to add garlic, you're more than welcome. If you're using a food processor, then it's a good one. It's a good way. You can just add the clove as is, and I promise you it will grind very fine. So, nice. Okay. So I'm gonna put it just for the beginning. Now I'm gonna stop. Let's see if I added any. Well, it had salt already. Yeah. So it's 1 teaspoon of salt. I have the cilantro. Cilantro, parsley.
Yossi, is there a particular brand of tahini that you use, that you recommend?
So, to be honest, there are so many brands, much more than I expected. I'm using a Lebanese one. It's El Kantar. You can buy it in Middle Eastern grocery stores. But I would say that probably any kind of tahini that it's not 5 years old is going to be good enough. When you open a tahini package, if you see that the oil is separate from the sesame seed, just mix it very well. Don't throw it away and blend it. So as you can see, well, yeah, I'm going to turn my stove on. Just so the highest, yeah. I cut the seam. I rinse it very well beforehand, and I'm just gonna add it to the food processor, which is a bit small, to be honest.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're working.
That's a real chef right there.
When you're working in a restaurant and then you cook at home. Okay. If you have a bigger one, you can just add everything at once.
So you can say now, for people who ask us why our tahini is green.
We had a food coloring.
Yeah, food coloring.
So I'm gonna grind it as fine as possible. I like the tuna to be very green. I probably can add another half a bunch to it, or just let's wait about 20 seconds. Okay, so this food processor just not too strong or fast enough. So
you can start to see the green.
You can, but the cilantro is still too big. So if you have a Cuisine, probably going to do a much better job than this one. Aviva, is the pita ready, Aviva? Okay, I'm going to stop here, just because I'm not going to get anything finer than this. Yummy. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, we're going to move this guy away. I'm going to scoop it back.
You're the baby.
I heard a baby too. Thanks.
Okay, we're going to put our Shina Right here. We don't need this anymore. We're gonna move the cutting board. Where's my camera guy? Aviva? So the stove should be ready by now. Okay, she's right here. I'm not gonna add any oil to the pan. The meat should have enough fat, so hopefully it's not gonna stick. We're gonna let it foam out. When you're using the pan, make sure that it's very hot, and when you see smoke coming up, then you know that you can add your meat or put it. Very important. Make sure that your vent is on. No, not as hot as I wanted. So I'm just going to place them on, and you can tap them a little bit just to make them a bit thinner and to even them a little bit. But that's it. That should be enough. I'm going to check my pita dough and the pita that I already divided, if I can start and shape them. My oven should be ready to go. So that's the dough that we mixed beforehand. It still needs time to ferment. I would say about an hour should be enough. Yeah. And this is our divided pita. So when you shape the dough, besides letting it ferment for a while, the dough is resting, the gluten strings are resting, and then you can shape it easily and not struggle with the dough when you roll it, and it's squeezing all the time and shrinking. So I'm going to try to shape a pita right now, and we'll see if we need to let it sit for a longer or it's going to be enough. And let's clean.
Yossi, what is your red thing? What kind of device is that?
It's a Breville pizza oven.
It's a bread and pita oven?
Breville?
Oh, Breville is the brand. Okay.
Beautiful results for pizza. Beautiful.
And if you don't have your very fancy things, what can a normal person use?
Oven.
Just a regular oven.
Yeah, and as I said, we're going to bake on the stove as well to see how that works.
Okay.
So I'm going to put some flour. I'm going to take my pita. I'm going to shape one by hand, so I can tell that they don't need more time to rest. So let's see. We have rolling pin? We should have. No. No, they're too big for it. So I'm just going to do it by hand. But the dough needs to be more relaxed. You should be able to open it very easily. We want, let's measure it. This is too small, I can already tell. So let's say about 6 inches at least.
Yossi, somebody had a question for the
Yeah.
dough. Do you let it sit all together in the bowl for 45 minutes, then shape into the balls and let sit again for 45 minutes?
Let's say that the first fermentation is about 45 minutes to an hour, and then you divide and shape, and you let it sit for at least an hour, half an hour, at least.
Okay. So it is two different time frames. I'm just reading people's questions for you.
Two different time frames.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. We're going to put this guy on. Both fingers. I'm going to let the dough sit a little bit longer because it's still pretty hard to shape them. Tongs. And when you are organized, everything is much easier. Okay, so we're going to turn these guys. Oh, Allah. I want to turn the stove a little bit lower. It's a bit burnt. Yeah. Well, that's what we want them, big and juicy. As you can see, they don't stick to the pan, and even with the 20% fat, it's more than enough. Okay, let's see how our pita is doing.
Let me open a window quick.
Okay, not too bad. We'll see how it's going to be on the stove. I'm going to look for a rolling pin for a second. Well, that's the smallest one I could find. But hopefully it will be a better job than my hand. If you are struggling to roll the pita, give the dough longer time to rest. What's important is to roll it to an even, no, English? Even disc. What? Circle? Oh my God. Okay, that's much better. As you can see, when I'm rolling it, you can see how the dough shrinks in a second. About half an inch. So you just know that you need to let it sit for a longer time. Okay, this is the pita, but it needs a bit longer. Time to bake over here. This one is going here. What else do we have? The trina we made already. Aviva, maybe you can tell us a story in the meantime. If you have an outdoor grill, of course, I would recommend to bake it there, to cook them there and not at home. But I think that it hasn't stopped raining in the past 24 hours in Chicago, so not for us, not today. And let's see. Very important thing when you're pulling the pita out, and it doesn't matter how you bake it, make sure to cover it with the towel, with the cloth, whatever you want, so the moist and the steam can stay. Okay, so the pita oven is not the best for pita, but we will see. I'm gonna put the second one also. turn this guy on also. Whew. But if you want to get a nice pocket, after you shape it, let the dough sit for about 10 minutes. You should get a better pocket. And first of all, my shaping was pretty bad, but that's
You're
one
next
of
to
the ways. Mm. Mm-hmm. Not bad.
Give him a bite. Here. Want a bite?
Hi, everybody.
Yossi, how long on each side normally for the kebabs?
Kebab, so let's say that here it's going to take us about 8 minutes on each side, but you can see that it has a nice color, but it's still raw on the inside.
Yeah.
So it depends what side you do it and how you cook it. You want to get a nice char on one side before you flip it. Otherwise, it can either break or stick to the pan or whatever you do it. I mean, I personally like to eat my steaks or kebab medium when it still has ooh, look at this pita. Come here. So that's what we want to get. But you see, since the stone is not hot, I'm not getting any color. So I believe that in a home oven, you can get a nicer result. Now, one of the things that I love to do, to take the pita, if I had a hummus, it's even better, but since we don't have, I'm going to dip it in the tahina,
Sorry.
which is, as I like to call it, the Israeli ketchup. Good job, Aviva. Okay, so I'm going to let these two to go a bit longer. What we're going to do is to try to bake a pita on the stove. My pizza, that's how it should be. My pizza oven can bake a very beautiful pizza, but it's not the right choice for pita. Now, I never baked on the stove, so please don't judge. We're going to see together what's going on. Hopefully, we'll get a nice result. Aviva, can you take the kebab out, please? Take, Aviva, kebab. Take them out. No, just put it up for a second. My sous chef. Okay. I'm gonna put it on my pan. And probably gonna cross my fingers.
You put no oil in the pot or in the pan, right? You just did it straight of a hot pan.
I probably can cover it. Let's see if it's gonna help to retain some of the heat. We don't have the cover for this one?
That looks like my house.
Huh.
Anybody else have that issue? Where the pots never match the lids?
What do you think, Chef?
I have no idea. Oh, not bad. Looks much nicer than the pizza oven, to be honest. Which I probably can throw it away, the pizza oven. If anyone wants to buy it, $80 on eBay in an hour from now. Okay, so probably about 2 minutes from each side. I'm not sure if you can see, it's pretty smoky. So if you have a better vent than the one that we have, lucky you. If not, I think that the oven would be the better way to do it. To be honest, I'm pretty happy and surprised at the same time.
So it's hard to see the coloring of the pita when it comes out.
Oh, so cameraman?
Ah,
Here, hold it up, baby. Hold it up, Yossi. It'll be better. Hold on.
oh, much better. Thank you, Yossi.
You're welcome. My hands are burning. Thank you. Thank you.
I miss when you used to come visit me with bread, Yossi. I miss it.
Uh-huh. Well, the last time I came to the synagogue, my ass was beaten by other chefs, so I'm probably not going to do that for a long time.
Your latkes? Come on.
Uh-huh. It was fun.
If I did a hummus bake-off, you would win for sure.
Nah. So let's see another bake. I will try to the lid create a steam. You can leave it if you want, but they're probably not going to pop as you wish. But let's see. If you have a cast iron, it's probably even better to go because it retains much better the heat than this one. Can you get closer a little bit? There's too much light. Nope, can't see anything. Nope. Oh, yeah. Turn the.
Yeah, that you
Now
can
you
see
can see
better.
it. Yeah. Okay, now you can turn it on. and off. And at La Shuk, at Poison Row, we have a pizza oven that reach up to 840 degrees Fahrenheit. And it takes us about, I would say, a minute and a half to bake 9 pita at the same time. Which I'm pretty happy.
Somebody
And it
asked
looks
a
very nice.
question, Yossi. Someone has a question
Yes.
that she was always told that you should not heat a pan without having something in there like oil or butter. Is that not true? You can heat up a pan without anything in it?
I did. I'm still here. I don't see any reason why not to. I mean, there are so many things that good to do or not good to do. At the end of the day, whatever works for me and it's safe, I will do it. I mean, I don't see any reason why.
Thank you.
If you use a cast iron, you're not going to use anything.
Right,
If
true.
you're going to put oil, it's going to burn in a second. Okay, so we have 3 pita. I'm going to choose the ugly one and let Aviva eat it. Let's see if we can get a pocket or not. If we did get or not. So that was baked in my pizza oven. And
Nice pocket.
look at that.
Yeah.
Not bad. Sure, this is like a kilo.
Yeah.
I got one momento, please. So if it's not open the way that you want, easy with a tongue.
Is it still steaming?
Hello. Yeah.
No.
You're making us jealous.
I hope that you're not mad that we are going to eat and you're not. But don't judge. Yeah. The pita should feel like a pillow, like literally, like super light, super fluffy. I don't know if you can see it. It's not the pita that you can buy at the grocery stores that you can throw them on someone and probably chop his head. I don't know. You can drive.
If you want them.
Aviva, stop to send people La Shuk. Stop. Anyone has any question? Anything that he wants to know? She wants to know?
You can always,
Okay.
you can always unmute yourselves and ask a question, guys.
Where are you finding yeast?
At the black market, or if you want to come to me, I will sell it for you for $50 a pound.
Yeah, sure.
I'm taking the pita, scooping the green tahina. You can also make a regular tahina, but the green one has more acidity and it works much better with the kebab. I'm going to put 2 patties, just 1 sandwich for myself. And I'm going to put some black pepper on top. If you have tomatoes, that's the time to put it. Some chopped cilantro. Like every Israeli, another scoop of tahina. We call it lemala. Whenever you are in Israel, if they ask you hummus lemala, you say yes.
What does lamala mean?
Up, on top, come on.
Beteavon.
That's good. We got bad lighting in here.
Very bad. My cameraman.
It looks delicious.
To be honest, much better than I expected.
That's good selling point there, Yos.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Anyone has question, want to know? Rega, maybe I need to speak. I can't chew and speak.
Okay.
Amy, I think that you can add the audio if you want.
Okay, so kept trying to unmute everybody. Okay, everybody is unmuted. If you want a question,
Oh, what?
feel free. I'm going to continue beating you because I'm done talking, right, Yossi?
I don't know why.
When
Oh, the cilantro was there.
when do you order?
Okay, so the ingredients that Yossi used, we put on the website. We are going to, we've been recording this, so we'll go on the website as well. And thank you, Yossi and Aviva. And go visit them at Le Shuk. They're doing all kinds of things on Instagram. They indicate when they are doing their pop-ups. So you can pick up stuff at the restaurant during this COVID timeframe. Hopefully you'll be up and running and we can all visit you in person again very soon.
What restaurant?
Hopefully sooner than later.
Thank you.
The name of the restaurant, if anybody does not know, is Le Shuk. It is in Fullerton Row in the West Loop, and it is an amazing experience.
Le Shuk.
Le Shuk.
Just like Sabra.
Like the Shuk in Jerusalem.
Yes.
Ah, great.
All right. All right, everybody. Thank you very much, Yossi and Aviva.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet
Thank you.
Thank
you, Amy.
Take care. Stay
Take
safe.
care.
And it's good time to spend with your families right now. So enjoy it while it lasts.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
With the new baby.
Thank you very much.
Thank
It was a
you.
pleasure.
Miss you guys.
Cheers.
Oh, really?
Whatever.
Bye, thank
See
you.
ya.
Thank you, Jason. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Oh, look, there's the Balix.
He was in his chat.
Your phone is still on.
Meeting.
Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to end the meeting. Have a good night. Hi, Carol
Bye,
Speaker.
Amy.
Thanks again, Amy.
Leslie.
Bye.
It's nice to see all the faces.
Good to
My
be
favorite
seen.
part. All right. Hi, Leslie. Nice to see you.
Hi, Amy. Nice to see you.
You. Hi, Edith.
Well,
Say hi to Igor. All right. Have a good day or night. I don't even know what day of the week I'm in.
be well.
Bye.
Bye.